everybody, it's Bree and Raleigh here to do BJD Addicts prompt number 35, which is the oh-so-controversial topic of recasts. And I'm going to preface this video by saying that this is my opinion, and this is just my opinion of this debate, and I know it's a really controversial issue within the hobby itself, so here we go. I'm going to be doing the prompt kind of in order of questions asked. So, first one. Do you think recasts are okay? And honestly, I would say no. I don't think they're a good idea. I don't think they're okay. And I know there are a lot of reasons that people would say they're okay, like they can't afford the legitimate dolls, or the dolls they want are limited. And from personal experience, I got all 4 of my dolls while I was in college and making between $7 and $9 an hour. I got a raise somewhere in there. But I saved up, and there were dolls I simply couldn't have because they were just too expensive. And I know Bring Doll Carlos, it just got discontinued, and I just didn't have the money for him. It's one I've been eyeing for a few months now, and I just can't have him anymore. And so even then, personally I don't think a recast is a good idea, even if you can't afford one, because there are cheaper companies, there are other options. Like, for example, Aldrich, Magical Angel, you can get dolls for under $200. They're really cheap, and they're really nice, and they're a legit company. And when I got Aldrich, I actually wanted the dolls on Virgil, what Ryko is, but at the time I simply couldn't afford it, and so shelled the character into a different doll. And looking back on it, I don't think the Virgil would have worked the way that I have Aldrich now, and the way that his character's gone. I think the Kelly is so much better. But the short answer to that small rant is I personally don't think recasts are a good thing. Number 2, if you bought a recast, what would you do? If I bought a recast by accident, I would be devastated, because I had bought what I thought was a legitimate doll, and then here it's turning out that it's not. But I probably wouldn't try to sell it, just because I don't think more recasts are what the secondhand market needs. If I tried to sell it, I would be very upfront about, this is a recast, this is what it is. I might keep it just to practice modding on, or face-ups, because at that point the damage has been done and there's nothing I can really do to fix that. So yeah, I would probably most likely keep it to practice face-ups, to practice different mods, because it's there and I can't really get rid of it at this point. And then the last one is, if your friend bought one, wow, I can't talk today, would you still be friends with them? And this is a very loaded question in my opinion. If I was, one of my friends recently got into the hobby, and I talked to her a lot about, looking at legit companies and not buying a recast, and she, asked me a lot, because she'd never heard the term recast before in her life, so she asked me what a recast was and why I thought it wasn't a good idea to buy them, and, I explained it to her, and she ended up buying a legit, I want to say it's Dollheart? No, not Dollheart. Oh, crap, I feel bad now. Doll's name is Melody, and she's been in some other videos, and now I feel bad I can't remember the company. I'm sorry. But if a friend of mine, someone else, bought a doll and didn't know it was a recast, I would definitely not stop being friends with them, because they were scammed, and that's not their fault. I kind of see recasts, this is a personal opinion, almost like shoplifting, where you go in, if you knowingly buy a recast, you go in and you take something that doesn't belong to you for, in the case of shoplifting, it's obviously free, but a cheaper price than it's actually worth because of insert reasons here. But if they did it once and then never again, I probably would, if they went into it knowingly, I'd probably lose some trust in them, but I would not drop them like a hot potato, because the general argument is it's just a hunk of resin, and I see that argument very much going both ways of, yes, it's just a hunk of resin, you shouldn't lose a friend over a doll, but also it's just a hunk of resin. You don't need it that badly that you need to steal from an artist. And I guess the reason that I'm kind of adamant about this is because I'm an artist, some of my friends are artists, and one of my friends is even trying to sell her art, and I cannot imagine how devastating it would be for an artist to see their work copied and for cheaper and to be competing with their own work. If there was like a painting or digital paintings, it's easier in my head, that someone had made and they spent hours and hours working on this painting only to have it downloaded and copied and sold for cheaper, that would be horrible. So if they did it once, I don't think I would lose trust in them, but trust can be built back up over time, but I would not immediately stop being friends with them. If they continued to buy recasts over and over and over, I think I would have a harder time, especially if they were being an asshole about it. I get more pissed off at people being jerks. Like, it just makes me really angry when people try to justify things they've done wrong. And I mean, things they've done goes from, cheating on tests all the way up to the proverbial shoplifting and all of the in-between and crimes I haven't, more major crimes that I haven't even mentioned. People say judge a person on their actions, judge your friends based on their actions, and buying a recast is an action. It is something that someone has, in the case of excluding being scammed, it is something that someone has chosen to do, and that is an action that can then be used to define a person. And if a person continues to do something wrong over and over and over again, like say they I'm trying to think of a good example. I'm gonna go back to shoplifting because that's the one in my head. If a friend I knew shoplifted once, then I would try to talk to them and get their side as to why they did it, and if it was a money issue, try to figure out a way maybe I could help them. This is not a good thing to do. How can we solve the underlying problem? But if they thought it was a good idea, or it doesn't hurt anybody, so I'm just going to keep doing it, I would kind of have to reconsider being friends with them, because I think that if the moral basis of a friendship is not the same, then it becomes very difficult to be friends with them. Kind of like two people who are vehemently opposed on an issue aren't likely to be friends. So I guess what that very long rant was kind of boiling down to is that you judge a person by their actions. You judge your friends and even family members by what they say and what they do, particularly what they do. And so if it was once, I would not stop being friends with them. If it was over and over and they were being very defensive and very rude about it and being, criticizing me over and over again because I have legits, I don't think I could stay friends with them just because of their attitude about the whole thing. And that would be unfortunate. I wouldn't want to lose a friend over dolls. I wouldn't want to lose a friend over anything. But sometimes it's unavoidable. Friends grow apart, people change. Friendships dissolve all the time over more or less than dolls. I guess kind of on a final note, personally for me, kind of going back to the would you ever buy a recast, it's not the doll that I fell in love with. My knee is falling asleep. I wanted the Carlos, and my Grail doll is the Ring Doll 2011 Frankenstein, and if I were to get a recast, this is just me, it wouldn't be Frankenstein, it wouldn't be Carlos, it'd be a piece of resin that looks very similar. And I know that opinion can be taken as elitist, and you just want that brand name doll, and that's not it. It's more that if I'm dreaming about something, I want the thing that I've been dreaming about. And even if it was Bobobi, or like Aldrich is a magical angel and that's a cheaper company, or a Resin Soul, or whatever it is, if it's a knockoff, not even a knockoff, if it's a counterfeit product, it's not what I wanted. It's not the it's not the thing I fell in love with, and in the back of my mind, I think I'd always know that. And I'm sorry my voice kind of sounds like I'm about to cry. Because me and so many of my friends are artists, it kind of hits home a lot that people would be okay with stealing from an artist, and for us, it's a hobby. It's something we kind of do in our free time, but for doll companies and doll artists, it is their livelihood. It is what they do to feed themselves, to feed their families, to keep roofs over their head, and I don't think it's fair to say that, you know, my desire for a doll is more important than you being able to provide for yourself, for your family, to pay your bills. I don't think that's a train of thought that I would ever like to go down. And so that's really what I have to say about recasts. And one last note, if I met someone with a recast, I would not witch hunt them. I would not bully them or yell at them, because that's also wrong. Hunting down people who have recasts is not right. Going through Tumblr or Facebook and trying to find them and vilify them and scream at them or break their things or whatever it is the threat is not right either. I think the best course of action to help keep the doll hobby continuing, you know, for many, many years, is to educate new people coming in so that they can at least make informed decisions about what they want to buy as their first doll. Show them cheaper companies, talk to them about the harm that recasts can do, talk to them about what these companies actually are. They're not these faceless corporations that are just there to take your money. They're real people with lives, and even if it's only them, they have people to support, and I can't imagine taking something of theirs. And I know that, like, the arguments become, you know, people have bootlegged, but one crime does not excuse another bad action. I'm gonna kind of stop talking now, because I feel like if I keep going, then I'm gonna end up crying in front of you guys, and I don't want to do that. And I guess in summation, no, I wouldn't buy a recast. If I did buy one, I'd probably use it as a mod project, just because I can't undo what I've done. I would, if a friend bought a recast, I would not immediately stop being friends with them. I would try to talk to them and figure out reasons why they bought it and maybe ways I can help them. If it's a money issue, then I would try, you know, talk to them about, alright, saving money. I might be just anything I can do to help them. If it's, you know, the sculptors are limited and they can't get it anymore, I would try to help them find other dolls that are very similar from legit companies that would be within their price range. And I think those were the 3 questions. But yeah, I don't think it's right, and I'm trying to figure out how to stop talking. But that's really all I have to say about the debate, and so until next time, when I'll hopefully have something happier to talk about. I've finally saved up almost like $40 away from having enough money to get my next doll, and so I'm really, really excited about that, and I've planned out most of them, except the wig is becoming a sticking point. This full set has the same color hair as bri-cos, and so I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between like 6 different wigs to find the right one. And so hopefully next time I talk to you guys, I'll either have actually ordered him or gotten the clothes for him, because Stacy's Pink Ocean has like 3 outfits I really want and can only afford one. And you know, when he comes, I'm definitely doing a box opening, because box openings are just fun. So until next time, goodbye. Ooh, sorry.